So welcome to YPN Wednesday. Today we're going to have a roundtable, and we're going to start off with the first questions. What do you guys see in the market? Anything in the seller's market is it slowly shifting? What challenges are you guys facing? Positives, what are you guys seeing?
It's picked back up since school came in. I feel like it slowed down for a little while, but it seems like it's picking back up.
What do you think that is?
People are more settled, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Definitely still a seller's market.
Hell yeah.
With low inventory.
Are you guys seeing certain areas like that? Are there other areas that aren't? Or price ranges?
Well, I think price ranges are definitely kind of an indicator in the sense that if you get between 250 and 300, things have kind of slowed a little bit because 200 to 250 is kind of the sweet spot. I've noticed that properties over 300 to 400, some of them, depending on location, are moving quickly. But if you look at the numbers, the average time period on market is still around 60 days. So don't let your sellers kind of be misillusioned by the fact that all they're hearing about are homes that are flying off the shelf, because it's not like that for all levels of these properties.
With those stats, what counties are you talking about?
Those are kind of general stats for the entire metro, and those are NAR statistics.
I was gonna say, 'cause I live right in the middle of my hot sheet that I look at on a daily basis. Nothing stays on unless it's either not staged and looks like terrible inside, and is overpriced with that. But because I'm like right in the middle of the city, you know, kind of down by the plaza, and I'm in Johnson County, and things are not staying on the market, and they're still going for well over asking, unless there's like a new roof that's needed.
But what are those average prices?
Anywhere from 180 to 400. I mean, like.
That's pretty.
Yeah, they just kind of get like you've got your two bedroom that really needs to be, you know, redone,
Sure.
selling for 187,000, or you've got your 4 bedroom, 1 bath selling for 400. You know, kind of.
And location is
Yeah.
really a key indicator of this also, but, you know, some of those statistics are, I look at them every month because they're good talking points with your sellers and your buyers. You know, because you got to have that conversation with your buyer at some point about, you know, here's how quickly the property can move. If you think you want to make an offer on property, then do it. Don't wait, as opposed to, let's sleep on it or give it a day and then it's going to be gone.
But on that same note, I think we're seeing more deals flip because buyers are rushing to get into deals.
Yes.
So you're either seeing more things fall through on inspections because people have higher expectations. They're paying a higher premium for the price, so they want more repairs done. So we're not coming to terms on the repairs, or you're having problems on the end of appraisal. And then, so I think it's creating challenges on both sides because your seller gets excited that, oh, you got, you know, an offer on day one, over ask, and then it turns out that, oh, well, we're going to go back on the market and everything. So,
Well, I think buyers sometimes are really unrealistic in regards to that and tend to have this idea that the sellers owe them something after inspection period. And the fact is that if they were willing to make an offer on the house as it sat, they need to be taught or coached or whatever you want to call it to understand that it's realistic, or it's kind of, you got to kind of be fair about it in terms of, you know, most of us would probably say, like, if there's a safety issue or something of that nature, it's understandable to ask for it to be repaired or replaced. But, you know, don't ask for a list of 3 pages of things that, you know, most sellers are like, forget about it. I'll go back on the market.
it's definitely an educational thing on our end.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I'm seeing, and I don't know if you guys are as well, people are rushing just to get the listing in, and they're not completing all the information.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have disclosure, so you're trying to write a contract, and you don't.
pictures coming next week.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So, which is also wasting our time, because your buyer wants to go see a house, because, well, this looks like it fits my criteria, and I've missed out on a bunch of stuff, so you're going to look at houses that you've never even seen pictures of, so we're wasting time on that end, or you're not getting disclosures up front, so then you're trying to write an offer contingent upon
seeing the photos.
seeing disclosures, and who knows what'll pop up in there, and so, or like, what's included, so it just creates a problem for everybody, so I think we as agents need to slow down a little and don't put your listing in if it's not ready to be sold, and
For sure. Are you guys running into the listings in and you can't show it because they block the showings for a long,
I've had that.
quite a few days?
I haven't as much as, there was a while where that was happening to me all the time in the spring, and now I have not seen it anywhere near as much.
I've also seen that where I wish people, if you're gonna block it off, put it in the MLS so that people know beforehand. If it's a situation where you're waiting on signatures or whatever the situation is, put it in the MLS so people know, that.
As far as the contract,
As far as the contractor, if you're blocking, I don't care if the seller's out of town or if they're making a repair, whatever reason they're blocking off the time, don't make me go into CSS, it says it's blocked, then I'm calling and texting you, trying to figure out what the situation is, when it's something you can simply put in the MLS instructions and just say, currently not doing showings.
Well, do you guys feel that everybody has a good command of MLS way?
I think people do
I think
now.
I don't think so.
I
don't think so, and I think it's being misused. Yeah, I think so. I think that in my office, maybe some agents were getting repetitive questions, and it's sometimes the same people, unfortunately, but it's like, how did that work again, the MLS way? Because really, in a situation like that, they should not be listed. They should not be on MLS. They should be on rates. That's right. Because really, once it's live, they should be shown. And shown. That's
Right.
And I actually, regarding the coming soon signs, and I actually came in and had a conversation with somebody in the KCRER office because I had never utilized it and still haven't, but I wanted to understand it because I had people that were wanting to see houses that coming soon. And, there's some gray area there with it. So.
That's when you look at the property history and try to show them all picture.
I don't think it's as gray as we make it out to be. I think there's actually some pretty solid standards that offices or certain individuals just aren't following.
I'm seeing a ton, there's a ton of properties that aren't in MLS right now.
Our office has a policy now. Our broker has made it clear to us that we don't want to get into necessarily reporting people or stuff, but she will report stuff for us. She has made it a policy that we can email her and she will make sure and bring it to the board. Because if something's coming soon, you can email the KCRIR office and they will tell you whether or not they have a waiver. And if they don't have a waiver on file, they will contact that agent. So I think people should be doing, like if you're having these problems, we should be reporting it so that it gets better, because if we just keep ignoring it, it's going to keep going.
do you guys feel like we, as an industry, don't report it, not violations? As a self-reported industry, should we do a better job of reporting people that are violating these things?
I think it makes it hard. What we hear a lot of times in our office is if you're in the middle of a deal, you're not going to report someone in the middle of a deal that's going to cause like an issue. So what ends up happening is you wait until after, maybe you forget about it by the time it's closed or something. And I don't think there's a good way to report without being like a tattletale. Like we work with the people we're reporting, so like it just creates a bad situation for your clients sometimes.
Well, let's be honest, the other problem is that it's policed by brokers, right? So if I'm a broker and it's one of my agents, it is a guarantee that I'm going to bring down the wrath and say, this is unethical, this is wrong, whatever.
When it's coming from the top down, who's going
That's
to?
right. And I think it was, who was the speaker at Rebar last year? Somebody had said that I thought the idea was kind of great. They said that within your board, there should be elected by the body, an ethics like compliance officer and or a compliance officer, and they're going around checking some of these things out, and then ultimately
either going out flying or having those conversations, because it's coming from broker to broker. It just, I mean, and I can speak from that level where I've had to have some tough conversations. But A, I know that they're not always going to have on the other side, and B, sometimes it becomes he said, she said, and that's really tough to, when you get a situation like that, and they're telling you, I know they're lying, but if you say, you're lying,
Just that's a ton of drop in the situation.
yeah, it really does, and it should hopefully be policed by, I mean, we have to be policing to ourselves, but if there was a third party.
I think it was almost the notorious ROB that said that was likened it to like the district attorney.
Yeah.
That they're collecting the evidence and like the police department, they're actually out there driving around looking for these, taking the picture of the coming super unless when there isn't a waiver, and actually like saying, hey, we're proactively going to do these things.
I think there's talk of that.
I think
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they said that they were looking at a committee that was gonna be proactively look, because of that exact reason that, and I don't know if that's come to fruition or if it will, but I believe there was talks of putting together a committee that was gonna actively be looking, spot checking so many not contracts, but listings and that type of thing to see if they were.
I still want to market without any brokerage name.
Right.
Yeah, that's a violation. Because you have a brokerage name, or the brokerage names in
Team name.
the team names at the top. So what, kind of moving on to another topic here. What do you guys think makes a good broker or a good team leader? As far as like being either the team, like a broker leader, or if you're on a team, what are you looking for as a good team leader?
Somebody who's ethical.
No, it's just aware of all the changes that are going on, things that are happening in the market.
And support, like, especially for people that are new, willing to kind of help them along in the first couple of transactions, not swiping up every lead that comes in, to be honest.
Well, I feel like a solid, strong team leader is somebody that is a bit humble, but they understand that, their primary job as that team leader is to maybe answer questions and assist their team through their issues that they may be having during a transaction. But understand that they're not going to know all the answers, and they're willing to say to a team member, hey, let me research this and I'll get back to you. And instead of having this, kind of an ego about things and, play it off like, well, I know everything. And because none of us do. This is an ever-evolving industry, and it changes. Sometimes it seems like on a daily basis, but I think it depends on what kind of a situation you're in with clients, with buyers and sellers, to what you're experiencing at that time. So perspective is everything. And I kind of feel like a strong team leader is just somebody that is willing to kind of step up to the plate and just help somebody through these issues on a kind of a humble, way.
I think for me, it's really easy as an agent to kind of, and it can be kind of easy to like get into the heat of the moment with a deal. And for me, a strong leader is somebody that's able to kind of look at it from both angles and bring a little bit of extra empathy into the deal for the other side as well, so you can understand where they're coming from. Because I think that's, unfortunately, it's so easy for a lot of people to lose touch with where that other side is coming from. You're advocating for your side, of course, but if you really want to get the deal done, sometimes you have to look at how the other side's thinking.
And that team leader sometimes, like you're kind of saying there, I believe, is they have to kind of bring a neutral perspective to where they help you as your team leader to maybe take a look at the other side to see why something is the way, or why did these sellers dig their heels in on a certain issue as opposed to, just letting it go or whatever. And I mean, one of my favorite brokers is when I was with his company. He was very, very good at being that kind of voice in your head. Most of you probably know him and met him, but he's to me, a good example of what a great broker looks like and or what a team leader should maybe emulate themselves after.
Well, I think kind of playing off that, not only being neutral, but kind of like Alex was saying, being calm, like not escalating stuff. Because there's a lot of situations, whether your agent's in the right or it's the other agent, like being able to bring that calmness to a situation. Because like Alex said, it's very easy for things to get heated, when a closing is delayed or something, or you have an issue on the day of moving. Your client gets worked up, so then you're kind of getting worked up. So to have that person who kind of calms the situation is a problem solver. I guess that would be another thing, is not just playing into any of the he said, she said, but really working to find that solution instead of just adding fuel to the fire or pointing fingers, because we all make mistakes. And I mean, there's times where that's why you're going to them, is because you've messed up on your end, but you need to find a solution for your client. So somebody who really thinks through the options and isn't just like, well, you really messed up here. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
That they work with you to find solutions, and someone who thinks outside of the box, that isn't just,
Focus on getting a deal.
Right.
And done correctly, and making everybody come out feeling good about it.
Right.
That's hard to do sometimes.
I think realtors, lenders, all of us, sometimes we forget, we go for the win. Well, we should be going, like you said, Stacey.
For the win-win.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not even a win-win, just work towards a solution. I don't care where you want to put the blame. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
But, okay, here's the problem. Somebody didn't quite do a resolution right, or somebody didn't get this amendment in right. It doesn't really matter. Okay, what do we have? Where do we need to go? And how do we need to get there? And to me, that's the win. Move towards a solution, not, well, you did this, who cares?
Right.
The win isn't just,
You can look at that stuff later.
Yeah.
For coaching and whatever, but you're right in the moment. Everybody has the same goal, I think, which is keep this show.
I've recently worked with a couple of just fantastic co-op agents, and you can tell almost from the time you get an accepted offer, at that moment, you can almost tell if this is going to be a smooth transaction or not. And again, having been on both sides of an unsmooth transaction and know what that feels like, whether it was my fault or somebody else's fault, doesn't matter, you're right. What's important is we have people that we're representing, and we want what's best for our client, they want what's best for their client. Ultimately, that's why we say we're co-oping, because we're all working towards the same goal. Title is, lenders are, and the quicker we all kind of get on the same page and understand the four of us, the entities that are working together for these two groups of families, the better off the whole process is going to be. And going back to the original question, having a strong team leader with all these attributes that we've all talked about, as well as a strong broker with those types of attributes, is really key to have somebody to go to if you do run into a problem for advice or for a little coaching, because we all need it. We may not all admit that we need it, but we all need it.
Well, that leads us into the next question. Do you have a specific coach or mentor that you use besides maybe the broker team outside of that? And what impact does that have on the business?
I do, actually, and it happens to be one of my uncles who was in the life insurance industry 35, 40 years, and he's elderly now, but I go to him minimum once a month just to bounce situations off of him. The impact it's had for me, it has, I kind of view myself as a pretty calm, level guy, but it's really given me the insight to slow things down intentionally, you know, almost like you're, maybe you're just not playing defense, but you're just taking the ball and you're saying, okay, we're going to waste the clock as much as we can. So you have an opportunity to kind of fix issues and make sure you're on point with things, you know, and to be able to think about things that come out of your mouth before they come out, because many of us have and probably will in the future just open our pie hole and things come out and we're like, oh man, I didn't really mean it to sound that way, or it came out wrong. So it has allowed me to, you know, take that advice that he gives me and internalize it and utilize it to improve myself more than anything.
Does anybody else have a mentor coach?
I have to say, I feel really lucky with our brokerage. Like, my mentors are the people that I'm surrounded by. We actually have a small team, and the way our team formed was somebody who had been informally one of my mentors when I was in the industry, and then I left, and when I came back, we ended up teaming up. And that's why I'm with the brokerage that I am, is because I feel like all of our leaders are really good mentors. And so whether it's my actual broker from my office or any of the others, I would say some of the brokers at our other offices are kind of mentors too. And even some of the other agents in our office that are maybe stronger at one area or something. So I feel really lucky. I think most of mine are within our company, which is specifically why I chose that. I think if you don't have a mentor within your own company, why are you there? Like, that would kind of be my question. If you don't have somebody that you look up to in your office and you're looking outside of your office constantly, that may be an issue with leadership inside your office.
Do you guys feel like the KCRI and Harlan MLS offer any sort of mentorship type opportunities or an opportunity to learn?
Oh, absolutely. Like, all of our committees, I think for me, I've made really good connections because you just learn more about the people you're working with and you find out their strengths and stuff. I mean, like, Alex and I are both within the same brokerage, and we didn't even meet until it was at a YPN event. And, you know, we formed a more significant bond that way. And just seeing faces, whether it's lenders, affiliates, whoever it is, you know, you can find those people, because sometimes, especially as a newer agent, like, I may not have a lender that I have a really good relationship with. So I come to a meeting and Wendy's here and I'm like, you know what, I have this stupid question. Like, Wendy, can you help me with it? Because it's somebody that you form that bond with. Or like, even on the advocacy committee, you find people that they have different strengths and stuff, and you get more involved. So I think absolutely getting involved in the committees and KCRR and the MLS, there are definitely people here to help you, but you have to make the effort to be present. You know, they're not going to come looking for you. You have to get involved. And I think that's how relationships like naturally develop, is, you know, being present and sitting around eating donuts, and we find out we have some other connection, you know, than just whatever our work stuff is.
This is a relationship business.
Exactly.
I don't care if you're title, lender, the borrower, this is a relationship business. So as you make those and forge those relationships and things, to me, there's people at this table, I call John, I know I've called Kyle, and as a lender, I'm like, okay, here's the scenario, because we've all had them. I'm like, here's what I think. Tell me what, from your perspective, we've had those conversations, and those are invaluable. I mean, they're just huge, and they call me.
I think a lot of that kind of goes back into what you were talking about with leadership. It's so important, especially because this is a relationship business, competition is great. It's great to be competitive and try and, you know, have more sales than your person next to you. But at the same time, it's so important to respectfully teach and learn from each other, learn from each transaction, and share that knowledge with the other agents that you are dealing with, or the other agents that are, you know, looking to you as a mentor or sitting on a committee, you know, sharing the knowledge, because it'll only make next transaction that much easier.
Absolutely.
You've been in real estate quite a while, and you just are now starting to be active in the board. What made you decide to start
Building relationships. I've learned when when I know a person and then I'm doing a deal with them, it just goes that much smoother, and it just helps.
I think on that same note, I think how many transactions do we do that you never even meet the person on the other side? And so it's so easy to forget via technology with email and phones and stuff that that's another person and that's another agent too. So to put a face with a name, and I think it helps you realize that it really is a relationship industry. And when you meet these people face to face, like next time you're on the phone, it's easier to be calm and, you know, be polite to each other when you've met them and they're not just some name or number. It's a real person.
I want to bring it back around to getting more people involved, and we're looking at this through YPN. I mean, there's a fair amount of those where you're doing the entire transaction because they are clearly overwhelmed and they're out of their element, they're part-time, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is.
We got this done in spite of them.
Oh, yes. I mean, I don't know how many times I hear from my agents is that, you know, this transaction was done, but I should be getting my side of the commission.
Right.
And I know you all done too. So I think that's really, really, really important that we continue to advocate towards, you know, if you're a realtor, these are some of the things that you do. You participate in the board, you know, you do this as a full-time job. So I still feel like that's not only ours, danger reporting as well, but the masses of idiot agents.
You guys are doing a great job of leading me to the next questions. So going forward, YPN, part of what we do is young in age, young in real estate. What should YPN's focus be going forward towards 2017? How do we address some of these issues that we're having? How do we make the new agents, younger agents, better agents? What can we be doing as a committee to facilitate these things?
I really liked kind of the format that we're having now where we get together and talk, because a lot of the CE classes and that stuff, you're trying to cram so much into a short period, you just skim the surface, and a lot of that, it doesn't have to do with the real day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, you're not learning what it actually transpired in the agenda.
Right, and I think like the relationship building, so the informal happy hours and stuff are fun just because there isn't a structure, so you can just kind of go and meet people. I also love the volunteer aspect. It gets us outside of what we normally do, and you know, it just, again, you kind of get to know the person as a whole and not just through the business. So I love that as well. I'd love to see kind of more of the volunteer stuff as well.
I think almost it's one thing I would like to see more of is us actually reaching out and finding those new agents, because I don't know that we, you know, well, they're coming through. How many new agent orientation classes are there? And that's where we, I think, could really get in with those newbies and find out, are you in this, are you in it to win it? Are you in it full time? Like, can we help you? Can we set you up with, you know, people that can help you throughout your journey and outside of your brokerage? Because everybody's got something to offer.
Do we do any sort of a new agent forum in any part of their orientation where people from KCRAR come in at maybe the end of the day or something during their orientations and just kind of talk to the new agents about here are some of the committees that you could be a part of and lend your talents to? Is that something that's happening?
I feel like I remember Angela saying that she clubs.
It's all online now. There used to be a class, but it's all online.
Yeah, and I think getting somebody in front of their faces, and just like we sat here and asked for her to copy these, I really think that people respond better to something tangible than, even though we're a completely electronic society and everybody on social media, blah, blah, blah. But again, go back to this relationship situation. It's got to start from the day one when they come into their orientation and they learn how to get on MLS and the whole nine. At the end of the day, whether it's 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, and just say, hey, here are some things we'd like you to consider. Maybe not your first 60 days, but be aware of these things, because when I started, I didn't have any clue about committees and that there were things that I could do at KCRR and so on.
Almost like a quarterly YPN welcome. Just an hour with some information.
Maybe we could send out handwritten cards to all the new members.
Alright.
And invite them to an event.
So you can say all that. That's say, how many chairs?
You're responsible.
Well, it's funny because this year, I mean, Kyle talked last year about, being the vice chair. I mean, I was literally thinking in my head, oh, we'll create like 5, meetings that we'll do and then a quarterly event. And it's been a lot more than that. The good part about that is that it's consistent. And I think that with anything, keeping it consistent, like in Wednesday, a happy hour, makes it to where then we can start to implement things. Maybe an idea would be to somehow devise even just a flyer. But every new agent has to come in that's going to be part of MLS because they want access to be able to see homes, right? So in that orientation, there's, by the way, next Wednesday or a week from Wednesday, here's the calendar of events you should attend YPN. And so maybe some sort of that way could be easier to implement. I don't think, because next year I'm not going to be able to do as much input. I'm going to have to listen. But I don't think necessarily adding another event or adding another thing is a good thing. I think we have a lot. I think we have a lot more. We have just getting more people.
I think we can all, sitting here talking, I can do better in my office. We've had several new agents that I should be putting them in my car and bringing them here. So, you know what I mean? Because it can be intimidating to go to an event by yourself, and I think we sometimes get busy and forget about the people in our own office and stuff that we could really be reaching out to and, making an effort.
We could do even potentially a small group of, it starts at the broker level, right?
Yeah.
The brokers have to be behind it and or one person like leading the way cheerleading. I suppose we could do like a tour because most of us offices have a training of sorts, so a weekly meeting and be able to go and bring them donuts or something and say. And I think that would be over like a 3-year span, right? Because there's so many different brokers. Yeah, exactly. I don't even think weekly is reasonable, right? But we can do small groups, and all you do is you bring donuts and you sit at the beginning of that meeting. Hey, we are YPN. This is what we stand for. We want everybody, but we especially want your newer agents.
I really don't think it'd be that hard. Like, we write the cards every week and we just have a list of the new members. Like, as we're sitting through a meeting, each of us could write one handwritten note and invite them to the next meeting and just.
They won't be able to remind me.
I was just gonna say, hold on, I'll write
And that's kind of why I was thinking in terms of at the MLS orientation, or when they come in, they start signing up and giving their money to be a part of an association and stuff that, YPN, people getting signed up for committees or at least just letting them know at that very first chance we get, that, hey, here are some things that are available to you. You'll probably receive an invite to several of these at some point, whatever it happens to be. But I didn't get that, and this is the start of my 5th year, and I looked into it on my own and found out about being involved, and so.
The YPN Wednesdays that we've had, have you guys enjoyed those? Should we focus more on local agents, or do you like I kind of like the mix, the last one of a local agent and an agent outside of Kansas City, just to get a different perspective? What do you guys think?
I like being outside of Kansas City.
I think that's
a mixture.
Yeah. I think that's a mix because sometimes it's nice to have someone that you're not competing with, but some of the markets are so different than ours that hearing that outside perspective, you're just listening to them and you're like, our market's not like that at all. So there's some issues, I think, having that local perspective is good, but then having someone who can freely share because they don't feel like they're
outside people give you secrets.
And
Kansas City people can just.
And after the first one, we've tried to get more markets that are similar to Kansas City. Las Vegas is kind of a similar market to Kansas City. Nashville is similar. Trying to get get those types of markets where it's a little more.
Not because it seems like when we get somebody on most of the experiences are the same.
Yeah.
So coastal markets might have a little more.
We're getting at the end of the time here, so I always ask some of the same questions. What books are you guys reading right now? Any real estate books that you guys have read recently that you want to share?
I'm reading one of, what was his name? I just won't blank on it. Hold on here. Dave Ramsey's books, Offer Leader.
Yeah.
It's a good book. So, I mean, it's just, he's a straightforward guy. So, just talking about the process of how he came about to be becoming a leader, and then kind of going to take you through what it looks like to be a small business leader. A lot of people tend to forget that his background is real estate. Many people don't even realize that, because his teaching financial freedom is probably a bigger moneymaker, possibly. I mean, I wouldn't know that, but
That's Way to Get Rich. It's right about my book about getting rich.
but so that's one of the books that I'm reading right now.
Nice. I heard that was a good one. Anybody else reading anything besides contracts and amendments?
I just read Go for the No. It's a sales book. It's about 65, 70 pages, quick read. I read it twice because I liked it so much. Go for the No. Go for the No. And it's really good.
I read, it's pretty light, but I really enjoyed it. It was The Cell by Carter Keckland. It was solid. It was really good. I'll admit it, I enjoyed when I know it was come on. But the book was really entertaining, and it actually had some solid insight.
It does that.
Yeah, he does the kick. He does the kick. It's really loud. Yeah, he's nuts, and he has a really interesting background. I encourage you to look it up. I won't talk about it, but yeah, it was a really awesome book, and so I do recommend it. The Cell.
The Cell.
The Cell. Yes.
Anybody on this side?
I'm reading a book called The Legacy. It's kind of about life and business and how you approach things and how you go through life, and it's about, ties in with the All Blacks, the national team of New Zealand who's played rugby, but it kind of transpires into the business side of things, and it's a quick read as well, but it's very good. I like it because I'm into rugby, but it hits all levels of anyone who's in any sort of business and who deals with people. So it's good.
Called the Legacy.
It's called Legacy.
Oh, Legacy.
I'm also reading Never Fried Bacon in the Nude right now, which is, okay. Right, it seems, but you know what, sometimes you need 300 pages to explain it. You don't want burn marks, come on. But it's actually, no, it's good too. It's got a focus on, he's all about moving very quickly, which for, especially for like our group, for YPN, I feel like that's something that's, I don't know how to say that right, but I feel like we might have the edge on moving very quickly in a tech world, you know, and being able to take action. And it made decisions quickly, which for our business is really important. So that's been a good one too. I'm going to kind of agree. Never got to the part where you should put on close. Right. I mean, maybe they won't.
So one last question here. What do you guys see the role of realtor in 5 years? It's always evolving. Where do you see it in 5 years?
Advisor. I think we're always going to be advisors.
So
Come to us for knowledge.
Since no topic is off limits here. So, partner of mine was at a broker owner conference and what's his name? Not John, and that's first name. He's on the panel, Mr. Emmett. Brad. And my partner decides to ask him in front of a suit of people. He says, you or your staff wrote an article saying that by 2020, the traditional brokerage, basically being brokerage that we know, will be in steep decline and ultimately be phased out. The whole idea is that this idea of this hybrid tech brokerage, everybody familiar with Redfin, basically a salaried agent to go open doors, but contracts are done and processed, through a very systematic way. And that's supposedly the brokerage of the future. And I think that's really interesting because if that's true, and I've got my own opinions, so I won't list them right now, but if that's true, ultimately buyers and sellers are going to be able to have a format to communicate directly, and we're going to be the conduits for that. But it will definitely change our commissions and what we're worth, and also potentially take out the variation of service level. So Alex's service level versus the G's service level.
Maybe we should all become attorneys because I feel like there's a lot of lawsuits.
I know that one of the guys that started Uber is in the middle of starting up a real estate company, trying to flip real estate to get right services. Yeah. But I guess the idea is it's similar to that, where basically you pay to put your property, a seller pays to put their property on an app. Or right now there's no app, but they just pay to put it online.
It's your house.
It might be. It's not through House, but it's called House. It's Haus. It's not through HOUCZ. It's called HAUS.
Right. I saw this when I thought it was
the idea is that buyers are just looking through. It's like a front-facing MLS, essentially, where they're just looking through these listings, and then if they pick one that they like, they have like a contract service, and what's weird about it though is that everybody sees everybody's offers. So it's more of like a live auction. And so then you end up with all of these different issues. So this guy's just like looking at a different, just completely throwing out what we currently do and rebuilding the ideas. And I don't think it'll work.
I honestly don't see our industry changing that much. Like, as we've all been talking about today, it's a relationship business, and first-time home buyers, they don't know how to find a lender, they don't know anything about inspections, appraisal. There's always going to be those people who don't want to use an agent. Like, there's always been for sale by owner. But, the majority of people don't do for sale by owner because they recognize that there is some value in what we do. And even with all the technology, yes, people find places online, but look at Zillow and stuff. So they find a place, and it's not even for sale anymore. So technology can only go so far. There's still negotiation and things like that we understand, and it's just such a big purchase. I think technology will continue to change how we do what we do, but I don't think the agents are ever going to go away, because what happens with a lot of people is they have one bad transaction that they try and do by themselves, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't do an inspection, I just called this sign agent, and then it was this horrible ordeal, and I hate my house, and everything broke 2 weeks after I moved in. And then, so the next time they're like, I want an agent to walk me through this process. And I've even had recently someone who had bought multiple times. It was an older couple, and they were so thankful for our services at the end. They hugged both me and the lender at the closing. This guy, he was almost in tears at one point because his loan almost fell apart and stuff, and we just worked through it. And if you're not in the industry, people could not, I can't tell you how many deals I've had recently that probably would have gone through if there weren't agents involved. So I think, yes, technology changes how people find the houses, it changes how we sign contracts and stuff, but I think the heart of what we do and putting deals together and connecting people with lenders and connecting them with title and the negotiation, I don't think that's ever going to truly change. They can try and put it in an app, but
So I'll play devil's advocate on that,
Yeah.
because unfortunately, I've got a running team today, obviously. You have that same experience sometimes where it's just this terrible ordeal,
Yeah.
and they use it. strictly used
I guess,
somebody that,
yeah,
that happened to have their license and, oh yeah, I can represent you.
Yeah.
And so those things really do affect our commissions ultimately because they affect the perception of what a realtor is, right? And they can still be a bad experience even if you had a great agent for whatever reason at an unreasonable party or they just, roof fell in, whatever. But I think for the most part, they can tell if you care and if you're trying your hardest. And I think that what the only thing that scares me about it, and good news is, by the way, NAR has developed upstream. We got an update in Chicago, and that's going to be a salvation for our data. But it doesn't necessarily change the public perception that realtors are worthless. And I think that there's a maybe not a large contingency, especially not with us, because we're the best ever. But there are a lot of people out there that think realtors are absolutely invalid. And it's not even that the fact that they want to sell for sale by owner, they also know that selling for sale by owner sucks. But if there was only this platform to help me with all this stuff, I can do this on my own because my realtor sucks.
I think if you look at the last 5 years, how many flat fee real estate companies have popped up, I think there's a demand for that, fortunately or unfortunately, and I think that, and I've talked to actually quite a few agents that kind of feel that same way. They're like, this is what people are starting to want to go to because, I think part
of it's just a trend though that's going to go away. And like to kind of speak to your point, I have captured several buyers in the last couple of months that they didn't want to work with an agent. They were a side call, and I have transitioned them to clients because simply calling them back. I literally had somebody say, I emailed 9 agents off Realtor.com or Zillow, I don't remember which one it was. She said, you were one of 2 to respond. And, she contacted me again. She goes, I'm just going to stick with you because you actually respond to me. And so I think we do have the ability to overcome some of those objections. And I think the other reason I don't think technology is ever going to be our downfall is nobody wants to purchase a $200,000 house purely electronically. People are so skeptical. Like, I have clients that don't even want to run their credit card online for the $200. So to go through the entire process, like, we still have clients who want to sit down face to face with the lender. They don't want to fill stuff out electronically. They still want to go over the contract, the paper contract. So I just think it's such a huge transaction that yes, people are always going to skirt it. There's always going to be the people who are just cheap and don't want to pay for it. We're never going to overcome all of that. There's always going to be bad experiences. But like I said, I just truly believe that what we do is value, and the heart of what we do is always going to be there, and people see value in that.
Well, so I was just playing devil's advocate because I don't believe that technology. I do think that the risk, though, is the bad agents, and we have to do what we can to weed them out, get them out of the industry, and/or train those that are willing but just need the help and don't have the broker support. But one cool thing, at least me personally, I feel like whenever you start to feel something really strongly, you can't be the only one, right? I have returned to full service options like think about how many travel sites there are right now, right? I mean, there's everything out there at your fingertips. You can book your whole vacation. And I've gone back to using travel agents because there's too many options. There's too many choices, too many options. Just tell me where to go and take care of it.
Don't you think
it's really not even that much more of a premium.
Don't you think part of the issue though, like when you talk about the number of agents and bad agents, that's like on us and that's on our industry. One, for having a low bar of entry, and 2, for the way that we're self-policing. So every time that someone makes a violation, we don't turn that in, like we're contributing to the problem. And I think that's something our industry needs to look at, whether it's YPN and what we do for bringing new people in and educating them. I think that's a major issue. How easy is it to get your real estate license and just go sell? When you talk about team building, how easy is it to just be all right, I want 10 new buyers agents, and you get them signed up, you get them in the MLS, and they maybe do one transaction. So we've got thousands of new agents that aren't really in our industry, but they are on paper, you know, and they're maybe selling one house to their best friend or something. But I think that's on us as agents, as an industry, as brokers, as an association to step up our game. And, you know, we can't just be like, oh, there's a bunch of crappy agents out there. Well, we let them in. Like, we let them do this.
When I first got my license, I was getting my haircut, and she asked me, like, what did you have to do to get your license? And I go, well, I was like, 72 hours total or something like that. I did it all in independent study. I just read a book and took a test. Like, actually, it was pretty easy. She goes, it was over 1,000 hours for me to get my cosmetology license.
And for,
I thought you were going to say that your haircut was also good.
Oh, no.
all right,
It's true. I mean, and going back to this, and I'll make it quick, is it's a relationship business. I think we've covered that over and over during this little chat. And second of all, I mean, we're buying or selling a house, which is, for most people, the largest financial decision they're making, or one of them in their lifetime. We're not buying shoes at Target. So treat it accordingly. Read your damn contracts. Respect them and respect the people that are in your profession. And if you do that, it all works out. It's just sometimes we go to the wind and not the solution. How's that for wrapping it up, baby?
I think we're going to end on that. So thank you guys. This is a great conversation. I want to do this for another one of the YPN's Wednesdays, because I think it's great. So next one will be October 12th and 10:30 right here in the boardroom, and we'll let you guys know who our guests are going to be, and obviously we'll have a conversation after that as well. So thank you guys for being the guests today, and have a great week.
This was fun.
Thanks, Ben.
I actually like this one.
that was really good. Good job, everybody.
It's true. I mean, the person that cut your hair was great. Think about that.
They have more experience
For
than.
$7.99. I'm glad that they Okay, well,